When Angela Lansbury revealed a very intimate aspect of her life, it shocked the public. Marrying a gay guy and making the difficult choice to leave Hollywood in order to shield her kids from the Manson family's evil influence. Angela Bridge Lansbury was born in London, England, on October 16, 1925. She was surrounded by politics, art, and intelligence growing up. Moa McGill, her mother, was a well-known actress on stage and in movies. As her father, the well-known politician and lumber trader Edgar Lansbury influenced Angela's early outlook on life with his culture and beliefs. And when her father unexpectedly passed away when she was just 9 years old, little Angela turned to movies and theater as a way to cope with the loss. This peaceful getaway would soon come to define her destiny. The Lansbury family moved to the United States in 1940 in search of safety and a new beginning as World War II devastated Europe and the Blitz threatened London. Angela immersed herself in acting after initially relocating to New York. Studies at the Fagan School of Drama before relocating to Los Angeles, where destiny intervened and her incredible cinematic career began in secret, laying the groundwork for a life marked by both exceptional achievement and unseen sacrifice. Hollywood was taken aback when Angela Lansbury, then barely 17 years old, was chosen to play the crafty maid Nancy in Gaslight, 1944. She was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for the part, which immediately established her as a unique and powerful talent. Her cinematic career started off at an incredible rate after that. Velocity. Lansbury transitioned between roles with ease throughout the 1940s and 1950s, displaying a remarkable versatility that greatly outstripped her youth. Despite frequently being given roles that were somewhat older than her own, Lansbury gave performances that were completely believable. She received a second Oscar nod for her eerie performance in the 1945 film Dorian Gray, and a third for her terrifying portrayal of a cruel, cunning mother in the 1962 film Manchurian Candidate. These early parts demonstrated her remarkable capacity to blend in with a character, giving them nuance, complexity, and emotional weight even in supporting parts. The genius of Angela Lansbury was never confined to the movie theater. Through a string of Tony Award-winning roles in classic Broadway plays, including Mame 1966, Gypsy 1974, Sweeney Todd 1979, and Blithe Spirit 2009, she rose to legendary status. She became one of the most adored and esteemed due to her powerful voice, captivating stage presence, and extraordinary flexibility. Performers in musical theater throughout history. Angela Lansbury demonstrated an unrelenting commitment to her art each time she took the stage. From a remarkable ability to convey deep emotion via song and language to incredibly precise comedic timing. Her most famous and memorable role, however, came on television, where she played Jessica Fletcher, the astute mystery writer who cracked murder cases week after week, for millions of viewers. From 1984 to 1996, she authored 12 seasons in length and an outstanding. The 264-episode series made Lansbury a worldwide television sensation. Her warmth, wit, and easy charm captivated audiences, and for years the show became a treasured Sunday night routine. Viewers were given a unique and strong heroine that defied age and tradition with her portrayal of Fletcher, who was witty, fiercely independent, and incredibly sympathetic. Despite the long-awaited win never materializing, Lansbury's amazing record of receiving 12 straight Emmy nominations for the part demonstrated her enduring appeal. Beyond Broadway and television, Lansbury made a lasting impression on animation, captivating a whole new generation. Her tender, sincere portrayal as Mrs. Potts in Disney's 1991 Beauty and the Beast, which included the well-known title song, brought warmth, grace, and emotional depth to the movie. That enduring voice guaranteed that Angela Lansbury's legacy would endure with viewers of all ages and contributed to the animated classic's soul. Angela Lansbury remained endearing. Her roles in family-friendly movies like Anastasia, 1997, and Nanny MCI, 2005, have demonstrated her extraordinary adaptability and enduring appeal to audiences of all ages. Over the years, her enormous contributions to theater, television, and film have received several honors. 6 Tony Awards, 5 Golden Globes, a Screen Actors Guild Lifetime Achievement Award, and an Honorary Academy Award, a long overdue acknowledgement of a really great career, were among her many honors. In 2014, Queen Elizabeth II bestowed upon Lansbury one of the greatest accolades in Britain, the title of Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire. In addition to her remarkable accomplishments in theatre, the honor honored her lifelong dedication to philanthropy and her humanitarian endeavors. It represented her special position serving as a cultural link between the US and the UK. Admired on both sides of the Atlantic, Angela Lansbury had a profoundly youthful and intimate period of her life. At the age of 19, she discreetly eloped with 16-year-old actor Richard Cromwell on September 27, 1945. The pair married in a low-key civil ceremony away from the Hollywood spotlight, preferring closeness to spectacle. Angela came into the marriage full of love, hope, and faith in their shared future. She believed their relationship would last despite their age difference and the demands of a fast-paced film industry. Unfortunately, the marriage fell apart fast and was divorced in 1946. But what came next was surprising. They developed a friendship that lasted a lifetime. For many years, Angela and Richard maintained a cordial and polite relationship that lasted until Cromwell's death in 1960 from liver cancer. Furthermore, the relationship between Angela Lansbury and Richard Cromwell did not fade into resentment in spite of their abrupt and extremely painful divorce. Their ongoing companionship spoke volumes about Lansbury's capacity for forgiveness, emotional depth, and resiliency. However, it would take years for the real reason for their split to become clear. Eventually, Angela disclosed that Cromwell had abruptly abandoned her, leaving her silent and without a face-to-face explanation. There was no conversation, no dispute, no resolution, just an empty house and unsolved questions when he abruptly disappeared one day, leaving behind a succinct, heartbreaking note that said, "Sorry, I can't go on." His abrupt departure stoked rumors, particularly after Cromwell made one perplexing remark to the media regarding the failed marriage. And he said, "All over the house, teacups. In the middle of the night, she'd get up and start drinking tea. It nearly drove me crazy." The statement sounded strangely insignificant and purposefully misleading to many. Few people thought that such a sudden abandonment could be explained by a harmless habit, and Angela herself never acknowledged it as the true cause. Lansbury eventually realized that the truth was far more profound. In subsequent interviews, she admitted that she finally came to the realization that Cromwell was gay and that the real reason the marriage ended was not her actions but rather his battle with his sexuality. The parts eventually came together after years of contemplation. Cromwell lived in a time when being openly gay in Hollywood could lead to social disaster and career loss. A lot of actors went into heterosexual marriages as a protective measure, frequently at great emotional expense to all parties. In an honest interview with Terry Gross on NPR's Fresh Air, Angela talked candidly and sympathetically about this insight, illuminating a secret aspect of Hollywood's past and the silent heartache it left behind. Later, Angela Lansbury reflected on that time in her life and talked candidly about how unprepared she had been. Despite knowing a lot of LGBT people in Hollywood, she said that the reality had never really dawned on her, particularly when it involved a person she cared for. Due to her youth, intense love for Richard Cromwell, and lack of relationship experience, she was unable to comprehend what was going on. She admitted that she had no prior sexual experience before she got married, which made the news even more confusing and upsetting. Lansbury stressed that she was ignorant of the more nuanced aspects of identity, sexuality, and emotional compatibility because of her naivete and sheltered background. However, in spite of the uncertainty and heartbreak, she was quite clear on one thing. She never held Cromwell responsible for the breakdown of the marriage. What started off as miscommunication did not turn into animosity. In retrospect, she saw the event as a deep emotional error that hurt but also provided priceless wisdom. She further clarified that she had no resentment toward Cromwell after realizing he was gay. Rather, she saw the short marriage as a challenging but important lesson that taught. During their brief time together, she received far more than she had anticipated. Lansbury also acknowledged that her sense of prudence and compassion were shaped by her mother, Moa McGill. Her mother, an actress who was well established in the Hollywood social scene, regularly threw glitzy industry parties where many gay men and women who were living in silence under the stringent rules of the time were present. Angela remembered how her mother fiercely guarded their privacy, never disclosing information without permission. That atmosphere of deference and silent comprehension departed. A lasting effect. Angela eventually realized that her mother had a close relationship with the underground LGBT community in Hollywood and had taught her the value of respecting people's identities, boundaries, and unsaid realities. A lifelong lesson for her. Over time, Angela Lansbury gained acceptance as a gay icon. Not just because of the role she played, but also because of her sincere acceptance and steadfast support during a period when candid assistance was hardly known in Hollywood. She frequently expressed her amazement at the overwhelming number of actresses from her time who had covert lives, compelled to hide who they really were in order to avoid dire repercussions for their careers. Once, Angela Lansbury talked about a conviction that helped her get through the hardest times in life. That is what we must believe and trust. I think that since we are all flawless, priceless creatures, God is within each of us. This peaceful ideology, which is based on faith, charity. This inner fortitude influenced how she dealt with both triumph and hardship. Her fortitude as a mother will soon be put to the test in ways that no role could have prepared her for. Additionally, both of Angela's teenage children started battling substance usage during the stormy 1960s, when the family was residing in Los Angeles. Years later, when she spoke candidly about it, she disclosed the most terrifying episode of all. Deirdre, her daughter, had joined a perilous cult headed by Manson, Charles. At one point, Angela acknowledged, Deirdre was interacting with Manson's inner group, attracted by the deceptive charm that captivated so many young people in that age. Fearing for the lives of her children, Angela took a brave and decided decision. She and her husband, Peter Shaw, completely relocated the family from Hollywood to the peaceful countryside of County Cork, Ireland. She bought a house in Los Angeles in an attempt to get away from the mayhem and harmful effects of the city, declined acting roles for nearly a year, and prioritized parenting over a career at a crucial moment. Her family was saved by the gamble. In retrospect, Angela stated that she was certain that she might have lost one or even both of her children if she hadn't made that bold decision. There was peace, order, and room to recover in rural Ireland. Her children gradually recovered and eventually led stable, healthy lives away from celebrity and temptation. The narrative of Angela Lansbury is one of multi-layered complexity, characterized by early tragedy, persistent hard-won victories, love, and family difficulties. She was honest about her background and consistently kind, even to people who had hurt her, throughout each chapter. Her life serves as a reminder that we can forgive one another, that love can be found again, and that the most significant roles are frequently performed in understated bravery and quiet tenacity. Angela also had to deal with a more typical issue for her generation long before these difficulties. Like many actors who gained popularity in the middle of the 20th century, she developed a routine. Chain smoker at an early age, when the glitz and culture of theater and cinema were intertwined with cigarettes. Smoking was commonplace, even encouraged, and it might have provided Angela with solace from the constant strain and fast-paced nature of a difficult job. However, she made the conscious and life-affirming decision to stop by the middle of the 1960s. Angela made the decision to save her longevity, maintain her voice, and protect her health as awareness of the risks associated with smoking increased. A decision that would enable her to play at the top level for many years to come. Given this, it is simpler to comprehend why she fell in love with a man who was subtly struggling with his identity in a society that valued quietness. Angela wasn't by herself at all. During the heyday of Hollywood, a lot of young actresses got married with great expectations only to find that their spouses couldn't live honestly. For many women of that time, love started with hope and ended in bewilderment and sadness. And Angela's reaction was what made her unique. She made the decision to show empathy and grace instead of letting disappointment turn into bitterness. Her future was not defined by the painful closure of the first chapter of her romantic life. When she met producer and actor Peter Shaw, she found true and lasting love. After being married in 1949, Angela and Peter established a union based on respect for one another and steadfast support. Their marriage, which lasted an incredible 54 years until Peter's death in 2003, became the emotional pillar of her life. Angela often talked about how much they loved each other, calling their relationship a romance and a real partnership. Together, they established a house built on understanding, stability, and love. In addition to having 2 children of their own, Anthony Peter Shaw and Deirdre Angela Shaw, Angela became stepmother to David Shaw, Peter's son from a prior marriage. Her commitment to her family remained unwavering despite her candid admission of how challenging it was to juggle a hard job with motherhood, particularly when work required her to leave California. Angela instilled a strong moral compass and a profound feeling of spirituality in her children despite not bringing them up in a formal religious setting. She taught children integrity, accountability, and compassion by example rather than by teaching. Principles that reflected the warmth and gentle strength she possessed throughout her amazing life. After years of reliance, Angela Lansbury's choice to quit smoking demonstrated a degree of self-control that reflected her outlook on life and her career. For someone whose job depended on endurance, voice, and longevity, protecting her health was never an afterthought. However, she continued to be acutely conscious of the potential effects of aging on an actress who is continuously evaluated more on appearance than skill. At the age of 51, Lansbury decided to have her neck cosmetically altered in 1976. To treat the aging-related natural weakening of the skin. In a field where opportunity is frequently determined by visual perception, the choice was strategic rather than irrational. She was able to maintain a polished, young appearance during a crucial period of her career because to the simple but efficient surgery. She made the same decision once more in 1987, more than 10 years later, and approached the procedure with the same realistic clarity. Lansbury's well-rounded perspective was evident in these decisions. She was not preoccupied with the image or disregarding it in favor of taking deliberate measures to age gracefully and maintain one's professional viability in a visually driven industry. However, the physical strain of a lifetime of playing, especially on stage, where roles needed continual movement and stamina, started to show when she hit her 70s in the 1990s. Lansbury's mobility rapidly deteriorated due to the painful and restricting ailment known as arthritis. Despite not talking much about it in public, she kept working and subtly modified her performances to fit her figure. Control. Her perseverance was best demonstrated by the fact that she persisted to perform on stage despite experiencing physical discomfort, maintaining her command and artistic ability. She underwent hip replacement surgery in May 1994 as a crucial step toward regaining her freedom. Lansbury was able to restore her mobility and enhance her quality of life because to the technique, which is often saved for people with severe joint degradation. She quickly made a full recovery and went back on stage and screen, showing her dedication to her art. In 2005, over 10 years later, she had to have yet another significant procedure, a knee replacement. Lansbury once again displayed remarkable resolve at a time when many would have shied away from public life. She overcame the lengthy and difficult recuperation with her usual grace and strength, refusing to allow her physical constraints dictate her last chapters. Days before her 97th birthday, on October 11, 2022, Angela Lansbury quietly died away in Los Angeles, California. Birthday. Her passing signaled the end of an incredible life and career that lasted almost 80 years and had a lasting influence on audiences for generations. Her extraordinary longevity in both her personal and professional life was no coincidence. It was the outcome of self-control, forethought, and an unflinching moral compass. Angela Lansbury maintained her dignity, her love of the performing arts, and her passion for storytelling despite the inevitable hardships of aging and disease. Attributes that, right up till the end, characterized her legacy. He had been stuck in a time when being openly gay in Hollywood could lead to social disaster and career destruction. Actors frequently left emotional destruction in their path when they entered heterosexual relationships as a shield. In an interview with Terry Gross on NPR's Fresh Air, Angela later talked openly about this finding, providing unique insight into a secret reality of Hollywood's past and the silent pain it caused. Each presence on stage demonstrated her unwavering commitment to her art. From her exceptional comedic timing to her potent ability to convey intense emotion through speech and music. However, for many, her most memorable television character was that of Jessica Fletcher, the witty mystery author at the center of murder, which she penned from 1984 to 1996. Angela Lansbury gained a lasting place in the hearts of viewers worldwide because to her character, which became a cultural icon. Reflecting on her initial marriage, Angela Lansbury talked to stunning vulnerability and honesty. She acknowledged that although she had known a lot of homosexual people in Hollywood, she was young, sheltered, and profoundly in love and had no prior sexual or personal experience to help her comprehend the circumstances she had found herself in. She made it plain that she never placed the blame on Richard Cromwell, even though the realization was devastating. Rather, she viewed the marriage as an emotional error that resulted in both heartache and priceless life lessons. Early on, Lansbury's mother, Moa McIll, influenced her compassion. Strongly respected people's privacy in a time of stigma and secrecy and was intimately associated with Hollywood's secret gay society. Angela became a rare ally as a result of that upbringing. She also became an LGBT icon over time, not only because of her roles but also because of her acceptance and understanding at a time when such transparency was rare. Her first love ended tragically, but it had no bearing on her future. When she wed actor-producer Peter Shaw in 1949, she found true, long-lasting bliss. They were married for 54 years. Until his passing in 2003 and served as the cornerstone of her family's existence. Even as she battled to juggle parenthood and a demanding career, Angela frequently talked about the strong partnership and stability Peter provided to her life as they raised 3 children together. When both of her teenage children struggled with substance misuse in the 1960s, life put her to the test once more. Her daughter De'Ara's membership in the Charles Manson cult was particularly concerning. Angela made a decision out of fear for their life. She moved her family to rural County Cork, Ireland, and completely abandoned Hollywood. She later credited her decision to save her children by refusing to work for more than a year in order to devote herself fully to them. After her kids healed, Angela was able to resume her profession with newfound vigor. She gave up chain smoking in the middle of the 1960s and was well known for her self-control. Later, she took sensible medical and cosmetic choices to safeguard her health and carried on performing in spite of arthritis, hip replacement surgery in 1994, and knee 2005 SAW surgery. Instead of retreating, each obstacle was confronted with resiliency. At the age of 96, Angela Lansbury died quietly on October 11, 2022. Her profoundly human life and nearly 8-decade career have left a lasting legacy. More than just an actress, she came to represent elegance, bravery, and tenacity, serving as a reminder that sometimes the most impactful performances take place in the silence, rather than on stage or screen. Decisions made to honor and safeguard family, truth, and continue on your way.